Let's go.
You're listening to Making Data Simple, where we make the world of data effortless, relevant, and yes, even fun.
Al Martin here. COVID continues. I'm in my office in my basement, as many of you guys are either listening, maybe on a run, maybe you're able to get outside, but I hope everybody is healthy and safe. IBM continues to do our part. If you get an opportunity, please check out ibm.com/Watson/COVID-response. You can go out there and use an AI tool that we have. It's called Watson Assistant. It's a conversational AI platform. It's free for 90 days. It's free, obviously, during this crisis. It takes complex issues and can resolve them. It's essentially a bot, and it supports both chat and speech interfaces. So check it out. We're doing that along with the dashboard that we already talked about. Today, I'm going to have a great chat with a great partner, President and CEO of Rocket Software, Andy Youniss. Andy co-founded Rocket Software in 1990. He's got essentially products across what I would call the latter-day AI, whether it be data, storage, networks. He'll talk about those in a bit. And it crosses what I would say hybrid cloud, which is mainframes, distributed, cloud itself, virtualized systems. And the other unique thing, I don't know if it's unique, but I know he does extremely well, is his business and technology partnerships with many different companies, including IBM. And we'll get into that. If that's not enough, I'll just say this. He's grown to greater than 10 countries. He's got over 10,000 clients, and he has over 1,500 what he would call Rocketeers, folks that work at his company. Andy, welcome. Thank you for being here on the podcast.
Thanks, Al. Thanks for including me today.
Ultra successful. Congrats on all that success. Hopefully you're healthy and safe and your family's healthy and safe during all this chaos.
We are all healthy and safe here in the Boston area. And I'm glad to say across our Rocketeer landscape of about 1,500 people, everybody at this point is healthy and safe as well. So thanks for asking.
I presume that they're all working at home?
Everybody's working from home for sure.
So to that point, Andy, I would like to get your perspective on this because it's kind of been interesting. I think there's been actually a lot of benefits. You know, all these executives, including myself, I hope we seem a lot more approachable maybe than we have in the past, and things have gotten a lot more real, and I think people are a lot more empathetic. Do you find it the same way?
Rocket has been founded on these core values of humanity, empathy, trust, and love. Not necessarily the type of words you'd expect a technology exec to talk about or a technology business to be founded on, but nevertheless, that's what we've been for 30 years. By the way, just coincidentally, today, April 16th, is our 30th birthday. 30 years ago exactly today, I woke up, went to a second bedroom in my house and started coding Rocket's first product. So this is a special day for us. It's really interesting that those core values are actually almost purpose-built for today, for this moment. Treating each other with humanity and each other, meaning Rocketeers and our customers and partners, being empathetic to the realities of this situation that, yeah, we all are working from home. The days kind of blend into each other. The hours blend into each other. You really have to be empathetic to what people are struggling with right now, whether it's a health crisis or an economic challenge. And so we've been built to kind of withstand this and hopefully help our Rocketeers through these really difficult times. And with empathy and humanity and the trust we've built with each other and the love we have for each other, we really, are leaning on those values heavily to get through this.
Well, look, I was going to save that a little bit, but I'll just say right now, congratulations, 30 years. And I don't know if it's a happy birthday but that's fantastic, man. I'm glad you're here. I feel special that you're here on this 30-year anniversary. Thank you for being here.
It's not the way I expected we'd be celebrating this milestone, but it is where we are. And it is a moment to, look back and to me, thank everybody who's been a part of this, because it's it's thousands and thousands of people. It's customers, it's partners, it's suppliers, it's advisors and mentors and Rocketeers who have been with us for 30 years or who've come and gone. And, I just couldn't be more proud to be a Rocketeer at this moment where we're celebrating what I'm calling our first 30 years. We're actually kicking off now our second 30 years.
So version 2. So, I mean, how are you celebrating it in this remote environment? You got to be doing something unique.
We did have some big plans. What we've actually done is we've asked Rocketeers to memorialize some of their favorite moments being at Rocket, working with customers, working with partners, working with each other. In fact, if you go to our website on rocketsoftware.com, and on the About Us page is a link to our story. There's a nice video which celebrates the 30 years. There's a nice infographic which we've taken a lot of these special quotes and kind of hung them on a tree that's anchored by our core values. So it's really, letting each Rocketeer express their celebratory moment the way that they feel they should. And then, look, we have 12 months to really celebrate this 30th milestone, and we'll figure out a way when we can all be together. Because it's Rocket, we'll probably play music together and celebrate in that way. But at some point, we'll be able to, see each other and hug each other and congratulate each other. But for now, it's happening all virtually.
One last thing. I know that you're also a trustee of the Boston Medical Center. One tip that you'd give to our listeners as a result of this pandemic?
Look, at the tip I'd give everybody is so much appreciation, thanks goes out to all the healthcare workers. They are truly, truly on the front lines every day, risking their lives, their health, their safety, their families to take care of others that need it. I just can't thank them enough, and I really urge everybody to do the same. The healthcare workers are the people that are getting us through this right now, and they're doing heroic things day in and day out. That's something that I definitely urge everybody to do.
Amen to that. Amen to that. My daughter also is at the pharmacy working nonstop, so kudos to her. Let's talk about the life and times real quick of Andy Youniss. Tell us about your career path, where you started. You talked about it. This is your 30-year anniversary. Congrats again. You start writing code. I mean, how did this get started? I want to talk about, you got multiple partnerships, but the partnership with IBM, how did that get started? Give us the 2-minute version of how you started and now you end up here where you are now, 30 years later.
Sure, the 2-minute version. So literally 30 years ago this morning, started writing a piece of software that I thought that would have value to customers. And, it was around in and around DB2. So Al, a technology you and I both know really well.
Yes.
30 years ago, DB2 was newer technology. Customers in the enterprise space were just starting to figure out if they process all of their transactions in DB2, how will they start to get business insights out of DB2, out of their data. Back then, the space was called decision support. Now it's grown up to be, AI and analytics. It was a really important problem back then. People wanted to write SQL to get results out of their data, insights out of their data, analytics with their data, but weren't quite sure how to write efficient queries that wouldn't affect their operational systems, wouldn't affect their transactional systems. And so the first product that I wrote really monitored all the queries that were being sent to DB2 in an analytics fashion, not in a transactional fashion, and help people understand which queries were going to run better than others, which ones would have a more negative impact than others, would try to anticipate that before the queries ran, or at least would shut the queries down if they looked like they were going to be detrimental to their operational online system. So it was a policy-based governance type technology that would try to predict and analyze queries as people were writing them. And so that was the first product. From that, real quickly, we had some success. We had a couple hundred customers, DB2 customers, that were using that technology. And those customers approached IBM and said, we love your DB2 database, and we use this technology from a small company called Rocket Software. And we, IBM customers, would love to actually see all of this packaged together as one solution. An IBM executive at the time approached me, and we created this partnership where Rocket would do what it does really well, which is build really valuable software, and IBM would brand it their own, and together we'd have a solution for enterprise customers around the world. And that literally started back in 1993, 1994 timeframe. And what started with one product has grown to, well over 100 products in our partnership today. So that's the quick version of the story. There's lots more to it, but that certainly, Al can get it started.
So what does your portfolio look like as it stands today?
Our Rocket portfolio spans three major technology areas. We have helped customers in the mainframe space. We've helped customers around IBM's Power platform, including IBM I. We have a NoSQL database that lives in what's called the multi-value world. So we have a multi-value database technology. So we're very data centric across all of those platforms. If you look, even deeper, we have technology that helps you access data, secure data, manage data, protect data, connect that data to the cloud and other, hybrid cloud technologies. And so it's a pretty robust technology platform. I would say very data centric and focusing on the markets where customers have gravitated toward Z or mainframe, Power, and multi-value.
What's the vision of Rocket that puts it all together?
The current vision, so we're celebrating our 30th birthday. We're starting up our fourth decade. Our what we call our Chapter 4 vision is to help customers solve problems in a hybrid technology stack that starts with kind of core processing, going back to Rocket's roots around things like DB2, so core processing, and then we build layers on top of that. The way that we look at the market is, from subsystems to security, from security to data, from data to applications, from applications to open source, and then from open source to hybrid cloud. So it's a layered approach that we have. And when I talk to CEOs or CIOs or technology leaders or even business leaders, we're having conversations that fit somewhere in that 6-layer stack. For some customers, it's all about the data. For others, it's about data and security. For yet others, and it's actually quite relevant today, it's about the speed and agility around application development and how to bring more open technologies to these platforms and then how to connect them to hybrid cloud. So, our strategy, our vision cuts across those three market segments of mainframe, Power, and multi-value, and up and down the stack of subsystems, security, data, app dev, open, and hybrid cloud.
For those listeners out there that are probably new to Rocket, when should I think, hey, Rocket should be somebody I call here for what outcome, what problem, what area of impact that I want to drive?
I think we specialize in three areas. One is around modernization. So when you're looking to modernize anything in that stack, so it could be a data modernization or application modernization project. Secondly, around optimization. So how do I get more out of the technology in that stack? And then even with some of our customers, it's around operational. Many of our customers have lost skills and expertise, and we can fill in the gap around helping operationalize across those platforms in that technology stack. So really, most of what we're doing with customers today is around modernization, but we still do quite a bit of optimization and operational help with our customers.
Is it mostly around mainframe, IBM I, and database they're in?
If you look across our customer set, it's predominantly mainframe. So pretty much every mainframe customer in the world would know Rocket in one way, shape, or form. So that's about 2/3 of what we do every day. And then the other third is split between IBM I, including, IBM Power. We're doing a lot more today with IBM Power and the cloud, and then our multi-value technology as well. Really where we started the company 30 years ago and where we've invested, to be honest with you, where others have run away from it is mainframe. We've truly embraced mainframe. You've heard us in the past with slogans, Rocket loves Z. We are certainly, as others have said, they're going to de-invest in that space. We've actually invested more in that space. And so we really differentiate ourselves in and around mainframe, but still can do the same type of things for you around I and power and other technologies.
But I wanted to talk to you about that. I love your tagline, by the way. It says "Legacy powers legendary." Can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, where you came up with that tagline, how it applies to your views on the mainframe as we head into the future.
We started Rocket 30 years ago when you could argue that the client server revolution started. And in fact, many people highly recommended to me that we didn't start Rocket. Certainly the wrong time to start up a mainframe centric company. What I knew and others knew is that mainframe truly does power the world. You're not going to fight the client server revolution, just like other technology shifts that we've seen throughout the past 30 years. We've stayed true to just delivering value, delivering as much value as we can to customers who are going to continue to invest in and around mainframe. And so for those that have, they know exactly what you just said, which is this is one of the most modern platforms around. We at Rocket, for example, have been porting more open source to the mainframe than anyone else in the world. We've been bringing modern technology, tooling, components to that platform. We've hired scores of young talent, high school, college, graduate students who are excellent computer scientists, and they're productive immediately on the mainframe. So the mainframe is as modern as you want it to be. A lot of the, I would say, press that isn't as informed will talk about mainframe as old and antiquated. In fact, you may have even seen some of those articles in this COVID world. But in fact, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, which is if you don't invest in anything, mainframe or any other computing platform, it will atrophy. So what we did about 2 years ago when we started putting together our vision for our fourth decade is we wanted to just tell people the legendary stories that happen each and every day with people using mainframe computing, whether that's in the financial services sector, government sector, insurance, healthcare, manufacturing, retail. Amazing things happen every day on this modern technology that just happened to get started, over 50 years ago. We wanted to tell those stories, and we came up with that provocative tagline, which is, look, legacy is actually a positive thing. If you think about legacy in its most positive way, it's things, people that have done amazing things and pass that on to the next generation and the generation after that. And that's what the mainframe has done. It's a legacy platform in the most positive sense of the word. And it has allowed businesses and people in those businesses to produce legendary outcomes and impact in the world every single day. That is what our tagline is about. And again, I would say in a bit of our contrarian way, we're using the word legacy, and many people have recommended we don't use that because it's a negative term. And we're flipping it around and say, you know what, it's actually a positive term. And we're not afraid to say that these technologies, these platforms, these people who have invested so much of their time and their life in these technologies have done and continue to do and will do legendary things in the world with this technology.
There is one issue, though. One query I often get is, yeah, but it's hard to find people that have an understanding and skills around the mainframe. How are you tackling that?
Yeah, we hear that a lot. Like anything else, you need a strategy around that. And so what I do a lot is I share with CEOs and CIOs what our strategy at Rocket has been. And so we've been introducing, let's call it the next generation of Rocketeers to mainframe technology in a very systematic way. We have intern programs where we bring the interns into the company when they're in high school or when they're in college or in graduate school. We have training programs. We pair them up with experts, domain experts. We actually can get them productive very, very quickly. We've also, as I said earlier, we've been bringing open source languages and tools to the platform. And so when a next generation Rocketeer looks at the mainframe, it actually looks and feels like anything else they've ever seen. If they want to code in Python, they can. If they want to use Git as their repository, they can, just using two simple examples. It's about a strategy. It's about training. It's about recruiting. It's about, agile development. It's about languages and tools that are familiar to them. It's not about 50-year-old technology. And I think that's kind of the biggest misconception out there.
Coming full circle, the crazy time that we find ourselves in right now. I know that Rocket has your own response to COVID-19. I started out with, IBM, a couple of things that we were doing at IBM, and we've had a couple podcasts that talk to our response. I know you have your own response, and even some offers to the listeners, the community. I'd like to give you an opportunity to talk about those.
We're thinking about helping our customers in three dimensions. The first one is around skills and expertise. So where there's an acute need, maybe there's a gap at our customer site around certain skills and expertise. As an example, we've been talking about mainframe. If a customer of ours feels like they need a little bit more help in and around mainframe, they may have lost some senior level skills. They might even want some advisory services to help them understand the gaps that they're facing. That fits in that first bucket, skills and expertise. The second bucket is around products and services. So we have some offers such as our terminal emulation technology, which interesting to think about in this COVID world as everybody's now remotely connecting from home. There are still many businesses and many lines of businesses and people who needed to be in an office and actually physically sitting in front of a machine and a desktop and a terminal. And so bringing that remote access all the way into people's bedrooms and living rooms and dining rooms is something that many of our customers needed. So we have a free offer on the table for as many remote access licenses that people need, they can get for the next 6 months. We also helping people move along on the modernization track on mainframe. So all of our open source languages and tools have always been free, but we're offering free maintenance so that our customers who are making use of that modern technology get free 24/7 support in this time of need. And then the third area is around technology and innovation. And quite frankly, what we're doing there is leaving it open to the customer. We will spin up an R&D team in and around whatever is important to the customer. So where you need technology today, where you might need some innovation today, our team can put together a little working group and provide you with some training if that's what you need, but ultimately all the way up to, we'll do the actual coding and delivery for you. So skills and expertise, products and services, and then technology and innovation. Those are our three prongs to our COVID response for our customers. And that's on top of what we do every day, which is we're here 24/7 to help any customer through any problem that they have.
Now, the 24/7 support, is that against any of your products right now, or how does that work? And how long does it last?
24/7 support for everything in our portfolio. If you're a Rocket customer, you know this already. Even if you forgot to pay your maintenance bill, we're still there to answer the phone and to help you. We're go back to our core values of empathy and humanity and trust and love. We're here to help. Our support engineers obviously can help you with our products. We can also help you with technology in and around our products. So even though it's not necessarily a Rocket product, if it's DB2, if it's IMS, if it's Kix, if it's IBMI, if it's AIX, we can help you through that as well. So our support team truly lives our values each and every day. And for anybody who's called Rocket support, that's how that's how we've been built, that's how we've grown up, and that's who we are today.
So on the technical innovation, explain that a little bit more. You talk about coding and helping deliver. That sounds like free developers.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little backstory. So about 8 years ago, we started a hackathon that we have branded Rocket Build. So Rocket Build came alive about 8 years ago. And that's where we encourage all of our engineers in the company to take time out of their day-to-day, take a step back and innovate, create something. We do this for 1 week in every one of our R&D labs around the world. And then we do it for 1 week in our kind of global hackathon. So Rocket Build is our, kind of our innovation muscle within Rocket. And this technology and innovation offer is, we will spin up a Rocket Build team around anything that our customer partner feels is needed right now. So we will pick the right group of Rocketeers. These are typically small groups of 4 or 5 people, and they're available to you to hack on what it is you need hacked on. If it's data modernization, if it's something around, app dev or hybrid cloud connectivity or open source. And so it's really taking this formal Rocket Build hackathon structure and spinning it up ad hoc for when and where our customers need it. It's kind of Rocket Build comes to you, if you will. You bring us the problem, we will deliver you the solution.
Is this a COVID-19 type of problem, or is this like something you're going to start up and do indefinitely?
Well, Rocket Build has been around forever, but doing this kind of on demand as our customers need it, where they need it, is new in this COVID-19 world. As we sat down and said, where can we really help our customers? Look, we have the world's experts around these technologies, so let's put skills and expertise on the table. We have products and services that our customers need. Let's put that on the table. And you know what? We have this Rocket Build muscle that we formally do a couple times a year. Why don't we just spin it up on demand and see, kind of who comes our way and what they need. So it did come up in this context of COVID, but we'll see how it goes. And this might be something that we could offer customers, beyond this. So I'll have to get back to you on what happens over the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, however long we think this is going to go on.
Very good. So training, you've got some products, whether that be the terminal emulator. I think that's called Blue Zone Web. Is that right?
Yeah, Rocket Blue Zone Web is the name of the terminal emulation product. The open source maintenance offer is there as well for the services piece, and then kind of the open offer around our Rocket Build, our innovation and technology muscle.
Is there anything on the Rocket side in terms of product offering, the COVID pandemic we have today that we've not stated that you'd like to make sure that the listeners hear?
I think I've covered most of what we've been hearing from customers. There is one other area we do have, in addition to the businesses that I talked about, we have a secure file transfer business that is mostly used in the manufacturing space, getting engineering specs from an OEM to their suppliers and getting the designs back in an efficient, collaborative way. And we've actually been called into some essential businesses who are, now manufacturing new parts and equipment around healthcare, ventilators and things like that. And so, we've been working closely with our manufacturing customers. So that's a business that most people don't know Rocket is in. It's something that we started 6 years ago, so it's a newer business for us. But our manufacturing partners know us really, really well, and they're leaning on us heavily in this COVID world to make sure that engineering specs and designs flow seamlessly, especially for these essential businesses.
Great. All right. Sounds good. And you said rocketsoftware.com. Is there any other place that you would direct our listeners to learn more about Rocket?
Start there. Look, we've got, we're in every social media channel. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, but you can start at rocketsoftware.com, and all of the important links will be right there on the homepage, and that gets refreshed often as new offers get put together and as we're learning more from our customers. So I can, really urge customers to come back and look at it frequently.
That's great. Hey, I got to ask you this one question. It's a really simple question that I should have started with. Where'd you come up with the name Rocket?
Everybody wants to know that. So the true story around it is my colleague and I, who started the company, really wanted to be rocket scientists. And so we called the company Rocket Software. And in the early days on our business cards, actually, you would see my name, Andy Youniss, and my title would be scientist. And I thought that was a really fun little play on words, Andy Youniss, rocket scientist. Not many of our enterprise software customers kind of got the joke. And so we stopped putting scientist on our business card, but we kept the name Rocket all these years. And, it's interesting how these things play out. It's a timeless word. It is meaningful across geographies and languages. And it's a name by the way, the font and the logo, it hasn't changed in 30 years. We've stuck with it all the way through, and it's worked really well for us.
Look, I get the joke, and that I tell you, if I give you and Rocket, for that matter, but mostly you, I mean, it goes to both. A compliment is, I think that you're one of the most approachable and, to reuse this word, but empathetic leaders that I've met. What is your secret to success? I mean, how do you look at leadership?
The core values of Rocket are not just words; they actually mean something. And so, people ask a lot, what is the secret to Rocket success or your success? And it is around, if I just kind of dive into each one of those words, it's around empathy, which is really, putting yourself in the other person's shoes. If it's a customer, if it's a partner, if it's a Rocketeer, why is it they need what they need? Why is it that the performance of the product is important to them, or the delivery date's important to them? People, ask for what they ask for a reason. And if you truly sit down and understand it, you can better deliver to them. So, having real empathy, putting yourself in their shoes, humanity, especially crazy world right now, but it's a crazy world that we live in. It's technology. It moves fast. It's businesses. It hinges on profits and losses. There's investors that are involved. But at the end of the day, it's people working with people. And if you have to be able to, humanize everything that you're doing and treat people well. You may disappoint them sometimes. You may not be able to always every single day step up and deliver, but you have to realize that it's people working with people, and that's what makes these things work. You cannot, our partnership with IBM has been going for over 25 years, almost 26, 27 years. That doesn't happen without just, trust at every level, at every moment, with every person. Do what you say you're going to do, not sometimes, but all the time. And then the love piece, which is the one that always throws people off, is you have to love what you do, and you have to love each other. And, I've been working with IBMers, for over 25 years. And I remember the first time that I was able to go out on stage at an IBM conference in front of 10,000 people, with my guitar and play a solo in front of, all of my friends and colleagues that I, do business with every day. And the comment that I got back from everybody was how amazing that was. Look, I didn't play guitar that well. I made a ton of mistakes as I was doing it, but it was me. I was authentic. That's me standing up by myself, behind nothing, and exposing who I was, who I am as a person. And people really appreciate that. And so it's authenticity across all of those different words that, gosh, have so much depth to them and mean so much. But that's what I think the secret to success is. And you have to believe in something. I mean, just to have a business, kind of anybody can do that, but you have to believe in something. You have to stand for something. That's what builds culture. That's what builds, a company that people actually want to come and work for. And you'll find at Rocket that more and more people are coming that these words resonate with. They want to work in an environment where empathy means something and humanity means something, and it's about trust and it's about love. And when we get together, we're going to play music with each other because that's who we are. That's the secret to Rocket. It's not in a business plan, but it's the best way for that I know to build a business that's long lasting and that ultimately makes a difference in the world.
Well, that was well said. No, I can't top that. I couldn't interrupt. People leave jobs, but they don't leave families, and it sounds like that's what you're creating. I heard authenticity. I heard vulnerability. That's a Brené Brown, if you read her, key characteristic in empathy. How often do you practice guitar?
I try to play every day. The truth is, in this COVID world, I've not been able to do that.
Who's your number one role model today that's not related to you or wasn't related to you or otherwise?
I'm going to give you two answers. So, music wise, I grew up a big Rolling Stones fan and have aspired to be as, creative and melodic and as talented as Keith Richards. So, he's someone that I try to study and learn how to play guitar from. So, we obviously live different lifestyles, but from
I
a
would think so.
music perspective, I love the things he does. I mean, his autobiography, by the way, is one of the best autobiographies I've read. It's so compelling. It's just an awesome story. But he does so many interesting things with the guitar that I'll never get close to. So anyway, I look up to him as a guitar player, and I'll say, from a business side, and I'm honestly not at all making this up, but I've learned so much from Arvind Krishna. I've known Arvind for quite a while. We work very closely together. We've spent a lot of time together in various business settings. Arvind's one of the smartest people I've ever met. He has taught me so much. And, whether he was the one that ascended to the CEO chair or not, I would have given you that exact same answer. I've been very, very consistent on that for the past decade. He's an amazing person all the way around, but he's been an incredible mentor to me.
Very good. Maybe you've answered this already, but what is the book that you recommend most?
Well, I'm going to give you a topical book. I read it in January, a book called Spillover by Daniel Quammen. He was writing about these spillover viruses that can jump from animals to humans. One of my neighbors is a friend of his and recommended it. We were out to dinner early January and they recommended it, and I read it, and it couldn't be more topical. So it's a bit scary, but it's absolutely relevant for today. So Spillover, like if you really want to get inside of what's happening right now, is a good one. On the music side, I talked about Keith Richards and Life, but
Yep.
another just amazing book, is Bruce Springsteen's autobiography. It's when you read the book, you can just hear his voice, kind of narrating. I know he did narrate the book on tape, but I recommend reading the book and just kind of, hearing it in your own head as he tells his, he's just the best storyteller. So it's a fantastic story.
You are truly a music guy, aren't you?
I am. I love music. I love playing music. I love writing music. I've always, and I've given talks about this before, being able to exercise both half of your brain. You've got the music side and the technology side. I know that's a cliche that they go together, but that creativity, that empathy, that truly, trying to understand how what you do makes people feel is a big part of music. And I've brought a lot of that to, what I've done with Rocket. It's what you do is important, but how you do it and how people relate to it, how they feel is even more important. And I think a lot of that comes from the music side of me.
All right, I'm hoping that you're going to get a lot of your folks, the 1,500 Rocketeers, to listen to this. So here's the question. What is something that they'll find funny or otherwise that they probably don't know about you today?
Oh boy, how do I want to answer that question?
You probably know it. You're thinking about it right now. You just, you don't know how to answer.
I think, I'll just, again, just to be kind of topical right now, this new COVID world where you're working from home and, people kind of get to see the real you, versus what you kind of look like every day within, as you're walking through the halls at work. And so, I dress in t-shirts and shorts, and I have really long hair right now. And no one who knows me at Rocket would ever believe that.
That's great.
So
well, don't they see you on video? You don't use WebEx or Zoom or otherwise?
For those that see the video, right? But I'm talking about the 15-hour, I'm working with ELT every day, and I'm working with, just a few other people, but most of the Rocketeers, don't typically see me in this kind of relaxed, kind of let your hair down setting. And, I haven't cut my hair since the beginning of, gosh, I bet in January. So, I'm comfortable if I'm walking around in shorts and a t-shirt and I don't have to have my suit jacket on. But that's how they typically know me. So, it would be a surprise if they saw me like this right now. And those that do always comment on it. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, but you know what? We'll kind of end where we started then. And that is, look, I think COVID could be a horrendous event that we've had. And I don't take that lightly. Having said that, if there's anything good to come about it is hopefully it makes us more human. I think it's fantastic watching a CEO or otherwise and a cat going, by their head, or the kid running up and saying, "Hey, I'm hungry." I mean, that it used to be we'd look at that and say, "Hey, your kid's there. You got to come on. We're working here." But you know what? I've long since preached, I learned a long time ago that there is no such thing as work-life balance, at least for me. It's work-life integration. So I think that's normal. It makes us human, and it makes you smile. And I hope we learn something from this, and we take and we humanize what we do on a regular basis, and it doesn't become a one-off, and we don't go back to where we were, quite frankly.
Amen to that.
I'm going to end now, but I was going to ask you, Stones or Beatles? You're going to go with the Stones then, huh?
Big time. Yeah.
So you don't like the Beatles at all?
I don't want to say I don't like. I mean, I love George Harrison. He is one of my all-time favorites as well. I know that's a big kind of religious battle. I'll play Beatles songs for sure, but I got kind of that emotional connection to a little bit of kind of harder edge. I just thought the Stones brought a little bit more of the blues to life than the Beatles did. But hey, they're both.
That says a lot, though, Andy. It sounds like you're like a little rebel. You're an outlier. Even when you say, hey, you could pick Lennon, you could pick McCartney. You go, no, I'm going with Harrison.
Oh, definitely Harrison. Not even a question.
Why is that? You got to tell me. See, this is why Harrison? Because look, if you're comparing the overall portfolio of songs and influence. Although, Harrison, like later on in life, he did a lot of stuff people don't realize. It started I think a movie production company, etc. But why Harrison?
I don't know. I mean, look, maybe it is that little bit of the contrarian thing going on, but I just felt like, everybody loved Lennon and McCartney. Like that was it. And like, I felt Harrison's a guy on the side. He's so incredibly talented, not getting the credit he deserves. Amazing guitarist. I don't know. I'd have to talk to my therapist about that and get a little. But I think I really do think I'm not just saying I think he's so talented, maybe underrated, and maybe that's why I choose him.
So when you listen to music, are you one of these guys that throws on the record, or are you digital like everyone else?
I've got both. I'll mostly because I'm traveling or whatever. It's coming off of my Spotify or Pandora or something. But at home I've got a turntable. I love putting on the actual record and hearing. It's not perfect, right? On the records, it's not perfect. I love that imperfection. I know you don't have to put this in the podcast, but I'm involved at Berklee College of Music here in Boston, and occasionally get invited to some master classes. So I go into a class with Joe Walsh, and Joe,
wow,
he was talking about this, and he's like, the problem with music today is it's all perfect. It's all digitally done perfect. And what makes music beautiful is the imperfection. And back in the day, it would, you'd record and it would, you'd hear this note wrong and that timing was off. And you know what? That's what makes these songs. And so I love going back to the actual, put the wax on the turntable and you just hear it. It's different, but it's like perfect in its imperfection.
Look, I'm a music guy myself. That's why I ask a lot of these questions, and I'm 100% behind. By the way, I'm putting that in the podcast. But I don't like the perfect either. It's got to be edgy. It's got to be almost, off tune a little bit. I mean, I really think that's when it's fun. I'm with you. So you got to meet Joe Walsh then, huh? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I've got to meet a lot of these musicians who are just, you look up to them, and they've done such great things in their career. But yeah, I was at a master class with Jimmy Buffett as well once. He was pretty amazing too. So, but I love Joe Walsh. I love the Eagles. Not everybody loves the Eagles, but I do, and I love Joe Walsh as well.
Hey, we could go on and on. I thank you for being here. This has been a great conversation, and for those that don't know of you, they're going to know you now. You got a lot of insight with you. So I'm glad you stayed and we were able to get into some of your personal interests. And those books, I will definitely check them. I agree with you on Arvind. He was my mentor, and I learned a lot from him. But look, I'm learning a lot from you. So thank you. I wish Rocket nothing but continued success on Chapter 4.
Al, thanks so much. Stay healthy, stay safe. I hope to see you in person soon. Take care.
All right. You do the same. And for all you listeners, again, thank you for tuning in. Rate us. Hit me on almartintalksdata@gmail.com. Meanwhile, be safe, and I'll see you on the podcast. See you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Making Data Simple podcast, where we make data fun. Be sure to visit ibmbigdatahub.com/podcast to access the show notes and uncover even more great episodes. Remember, the views expressed here are those of the host and its guests, and do not necessarily represent the views of IBM. Until next time, let's go. Over and out.